All right, we are in our third question snippet video. We've done a few. We're going to keep doing this and give it appropriate titles, so this can be helpful. I sometimes feel like the best way to learn is just kind of play around with the tool or the technology, and then when you have a problem, then you try to solve that problem. So that's sort of the approach we're taking. I am going to just do some things, and if I feel like something's not working out, or if the girls feel like they don't know how to do that, they'll just ask me that question. So hopefully you find these helpful. So enjoy watching. We have been playing around with a few things here with the highlighters and dashboards. And what I want to do next in this is I want to make sure that this hidden sheet that I have, or the hidden options that I have, show up nicely. Like when I click on it, I want to make sure that people know that something changed. So, sorry for just clicking it a few times. I'm going to go ahead and select this container. And what I want to do. Okay, so yeah, so this hidden sheet, hidden container.
How do you hide the sheet or container thing?
You mean how do I do this? Like how do I just make it invisible?
You press X.
This is actually a pretty cool technique. Okay, I'm gonna show you that. That's actually a good question. What you do is first you decide if there's something that is in your dashboard that doesn't need to be shown all the time. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. It's only supposed to be shown when somebody might have like a different thought process, a different question. For me, for this dashboard, there's these two little snippets of data, right? Some kind of query. I'm not going to go into what this is, but let's just say this is some random text. I want this to be shown only when somebody clicks somewhere. And this is under this section called DB queries for troubleshooting. To you, it doesn't have to mean anything. For somebody who is very technical, who wants to understand the query, like, I'm not going to explain that. I'm just going to explain how do you hide a sheet. So let's say I would like, why don't you tell me, what would you like to hide and only appear when somebody clicks on a button?
Hide tables in DB.
You want this to be hidden. Okay, that's fine. So here's how you hide something. So first thing is that for you to hide something, you have to use a floating container.
Okay.
Tiled containers won't work. Do you know why?
Because the tile is like tile there and you can't take it out.
Right, the tile is sort of like tiled in the background, like it's just already there.
The floor.
Yeah, like think of a floor example. The tile is already there. How do you just like make it like go away? Floating has a concept where you can just like make it go behind. Almost think like it's hidden behind something, right? So if I have to do that, first I'm gonna bring in a container, and I'm gonna bring in a vertical container, okay? And let's say this is where I want
What's the difference between okay, never mind. I think I know.
the vertical and the horizontal.
I know.
Okay, yeah. So I have this container right here. Okay. Then I am going to use this option called Add Show Hide Button. Okay. Mm-hmm. I just do that. Now you see what just happened? If you focus, there's this button came. My container is still here. This is my container with the blue border, and I still have that button. Now I can work with this and do some fun stuff. First of all, I can make it bigger. Now my button got bigger. Okay? Then, if I click on the button, what happened? Do you see my container just disappear?
Yes.
And I click on it again, coming back.
Yes.
Right? By the way, I'm using what's called Alt click. That just means when I'm clicking, I'm using my Alt key. Okay? But you can come here and say hide, come here and say show. Right? So how are we doing show hide? So far so good. It's a floating container that has a button to show hide. Now, the fun part. You can put whatever you want to put inside of this container, and all of that will show or hide depending on when you click show or hide. That makes sense?
Mm-hmm.
So, if this needs to go into the container, see, here's my container, and maybe for easy to see this, I'm gonna give it a background right now. Okay. By the way, do you know how to go to the background? I select the object, I go into layout, and I can change the background. Okay. And if I bring this in my sheet that I have right here, and just put this inside my container. First, let me just make this floating. Here's my sheet, and I'm gonna go ahead and just move the sheet inside. There we go. So see how sheet is now inside of it? Do you see what happened to the background? You see how columns, this particular sheet took all the space? Because
It's tiled.
yeah, because that was tiled, and whatever space it had, it occupied it.
Yep.
That makes sense?
Yep.
Okay, cool. Now what happens when I click on this? Hide, and it hides. Show, and it shows. What I
Can
can
you?
also do, one second. What I can also do is I can decide how big I want this container to be, and where I want this container to be, and I can move this button wherever I want and however big I want. So if I want it like here, then hide and show. You see that doesn't look perfect where I put it, but you get the idea. You can put it wherever you want. You can put it here if you want.
How can we only move the X?
Because you decide where you want the button and you decide where you want the container.
Oh.
You can decide that independently.
Oh.
Okay? Cool?
But how
Yep.
is there a way you can move them both at the same time, or do you have to?
Is there a way I can move both of them at the same time? You have to move them independently because we're trying to give you control that this can be here and that can be there. They're connected with the button, but they don't have to connect where they are.
Can you, instead of making the sheet floating and moving it inside the container, can you move the container on top of the sheet?
Yeah, hang on. So say that again.
When you put the tables and DB inside the container,
Mm-hmm.
can you just put the container on top of the sheet instead of bringing it?
No, because you have to think of it this way.
Like-
Sheet is your object. Yes, you want to
Like-
explain? Yeah, go ahead.
If you can put like a pen inside a pencil box, but you can't put the pencil box inside the pen.
That's exactly right. So container is a bucket. It's a container, right? It's storing things. So you bring the object, which is the sheet, that goes in the container.
Okay.
Okay? Cool? All right. So we've done about 2 or 3 of these snippet Q&As, right? That's all on dashboards and how do we design things.
Yes.
All right. So I'm gonna stop this one and let's just do some data related questions now. That sound good? Okay. I'm gonna stop this right here.
Bye bye.
Bye-bye.
Yeah. Let's say bye. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye bye.